We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome to the show that has not been named yet, but it's coming. It's coming. You
Maybe
know,
that's the name. The name of it
maybe
is
that's the name. Maybe that's the name because it sounds good. It rolls off the tongue pretty nicely. My good friend Josh Tariff is there. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well on this All Hallows Eve as we are recording this. I'm preparing for trick or treaters to come down my street. I just went to the gym and joined my super elite core power um, quick snack to tie me over as we record this, because I'm also bracing myself, since I am that neighbor on the street who always gives the full size candy bars because I'm that cool. And I'm also just mentally making sure, oh, I hope I don't have any left over, because then I'm going to be stuck eating them. And that's when more workouts and more of these have to come into play.
Listen, you will eat them and you will feel shame, and
Yes.
then when you wake up tomorrow morning, you just go back to the gym. It's fine. It's just a vicious cycle.
It's
That's
just
all
a
it is.
cycle. And then
Yeah.
I come back from the gym and I eat more of the leftover candy.
Exactly, and then you feel more shame, and then you just that's all it is. That's all it is.
It sounds like a life full of shame. This sounds like my current everyday life. I don't know how this is not
Listen,
at all.
at least you're out there, serving the public and being nice to the children. I will not
Yes.
put out any candy for the kids. All right, I'm not going to further rotten their teeth and all these things. All right, they got enough candy around. They don't need it from me. Okay.
Well, and see, and there's a difference between you and I, because when I perform at wrestling shows, I am typically a heel. But outside of my persona of the Christian Rosenberg persona, I'm actually a very nice guy who helped for the kids. You, Barry Grant Jr., heel 24/7.
24/7. Anybody that knows me understands that this is my natural setting, right? I'm just a villain. I can't, if you see me crack a smile or help somebody, something happened. Something happened as to why.
I mean, you're wearing a Mets hat, for crying out loud. You can't be more villainous than that.
I'm miserable. I mean, this is better than wearing a Jets hat. What do you want me to do? Huh?
That's a very fair point.
Oh, yeah.
Although I got knocked out of my Survivor League last week because of the Bengals collapsing to these Jets.
What a disgrace! So, anybody that loses to my Jets going forward, you should be demoted. Like yes. there should be a demotion system in the NFL where
the Bengals belong in the XFL now. At least their defense does.
100%. So yes, there's a lot to discuss here. We already have Bryson throwing shade at me in the chat. Leave it to Barry to not give candy to the children. Of course.
Do you believe we're putting up with this, Bryson? I mean, the nerve of this guy. He doesn't even send candy to us. He's technically our boss, and we didn't get any care package in the mail.
Listen, I don't believe in these holidays. Okay, I don't. So it's very random if you do get something from me, but maybe I'll be nice for Christmas and send people things and yeah.
I believe when I see it.
Exactly. don't wait up for it.
I'm gonna be pacing all night Christmas Eve. I'm not looking for Santa. I'm looking for this gift from Barry.
And me and Santa are hanging out like, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. I'm going to make sure I get you as drunk as possible so you don't get on that sleigh. So this is the eve of Saturday night's main event, correct? So we have some, I think it's 4 or 5 matches. We're going to go ahead in detail. We'll talk about that a little later. But I wanted to kind of start it off, Josh, with I'm a big fan of LA Knight. I'm a big fan of his character, the fact that he got that push, probably like a year back where, it looked like they were going to strap the rocket to him. Fans were taking to him. It was looking like it was going in that right trajectory. And then he got caught up in the bloodline feud and all this other stuff, and it just kind of got muddied, right? And then he went from bloodline to Vision, and it got muddied even more. And he keeps losing. So what are your thoughts? Like, do you ever think that he's going to get the real push of being a world champion or anything like that to, in the near future? Because he is a guy that is getting older. He's not old. He's kind of like in the tier of where everybody else is right now, the Seth Rollinses, the Roman Reigns, the Codys. So do you think that he's ever going to be looked at by WWE as a guy that can be able to be the flag bearer?
So this is definitely an interesting topic for me to talk about, since I do consider LA Knight a personal friend of mine, because him and I worked together on the Indies for a number of years out here around like 2009 to 2012. We would work almost on a weekly basis together, and we've also done like comedy shows together. We've hung out. I've celebrated New Year's Eves with him. And I will tell you, even back then, so this is 15 plus years ago, the personality you see on TV, that's the same personality back then. He was cutting the same styles of promos. He had the catchphrases back then. That's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. The dummy. That stuff has been for that stuff's been for a very long time. I can even tell you this is probably my favorite, like personal LA Knight story. So for years, him and I worked together at this indie promotion in California called Mach 1 Wrestling. It was a weekly indie wrestling show. So it was like a 90-minute weekly show that was just down the street from Disneyland.
Right.
And I was the play-by-play commentator, and then I would also be teaching promo classes primarily to the students there. LA Knight was not a student. He already came from somewhere in the Midwest. He originally came from, I want to say, was it not Iowa, Michigan, maybe? I don't remember where he came from, but he came out there and was working for a lot of stuff. So I was working promo classes with the students, and then after the shows, people would record promos that they would use for upcoming stuff. And I would be there and give feedback to most of the people that were given the promos. There was a handful of people that I wasn't touching because they were already good. LA Knight was one of those guys. And there was a handful of times where he would actually ask me, like, if I can drive him home after the show, because his place was on my way home. And there was one specific time that I'm driving him home, and he looks at me and he asks me, he's like, hey, you didn't give me any comments on my promos. Do you have any feedback for me on how my promos are? And I looked at him and I said, nope. What do you want me to say? You have it down. Right. There's nothing that I can do in my power to improve what you're already doing.
Right.
And because he truly is a complete talent. And I said it back then. And honestly, all these years later, while still working the Indies out here, I'm confident in still saying now, he is probably the most complete wrestler that I've ever worked with in the Indies out here. When I'm talking about
just complete package, promo,
as far as the wrestling abilities, the promo, the charisma, the marketability, etc. All those things. Have I worked with people that may be considered better wrestlers? Yeah, you can make an argument. Even better looks, and it goes back and forth. But as far as have every single thing, there's not been anyone that I've worked with in 20 years like LA Knight. This is now my long tangent to go back into what your original question was, as far as can we get him into a main event picture? WWE has been known for many, many years about not fulfilling the peak of men and women who have gotten themselves over. They will reach success. Karrion Kross had a little bit of it. Matt Cardona had a little bit of it. Rusev had a little bit of it. I mean, as successful as Bayley has been, you could argue that she has not even reached a full, because she got over so many other things as well. So LA Knight is just the latest installment of this. Crowd chanting away with everything. Love his delivery, love his cadences and his promos. Dude can move for a man his size in the ring. The fact that still all these years later, because I remember freaking out 15 years ago when he would run across the ring and just leap to the top turnbuckle to then deliver, like a superplex. And he's still doing that on a weekly basis. That boggles my mind. So he got himself into the main event picture on his own.
Right.
He really did. And then WWE, well, now they throw like different tests, at him. And just like they do with other people as well. And sometimes people succeed in those tests. Sometimes they don't. Threw him around with the bloodline. He seemed to succeed a little bit in that. Threw him around the Vision. Seemed to succeed a little bit in that. Threw him around Cody and Punk. He's holding his own with that. Then they did something which I don't think has been talked about enough, but I feel it actually impacted him negatively. And that was when they moved him from SmackDown to Raw. When they essentially did the trade of moving Sammy to SmackDown and moved LA Knight to Raw. Because LA Knight, with the way SmackDown was set up, was really that number 2 babyface behind Cody.
Absolutely.
And then, you have your Drew, you have your Solo, you have your other guys that they're fighting off. Well, now you move into Raw, where you have Jay and Jimmy. You have Roman when he's around. You have Punk. People still cheered Rollins. And Raw, to be fair, also showcases the women more than SmackDown does. And so, because Rhea, you can make the argument, she's a top babyface, period, right?
Period, right, yeah.
So now you're throwing him in the field with so many other top babyfaces.
Right.
And you did it at a point where a transition was due for him. Either you make him the guy and put the strap on him, or maybe you convert him to a heel, or, you'd like to do something with the adjustment. And then what they did was, no, we're going to keep it the same. And in doing so, you're having an effect with it while the crowd is still into him. You're having an effect storyline-wise where it's not progressing. Meanwhile, then you got someone like Jay, who I know we're going to talk about a little later with our predictions, who is still in the title picture. But the crowd, once the music stops, is not as into him as they've been.
Yeah. There's some tapering off.
Racing an adjustment with him. Well, LA Knight, there's no adjustment, at least as of now, to be seen. So this is the type of situation with him where if he was on SmackDown, he would be battling between Cody and Drew for the WWE title with no doubt in my mind. On Raw, he's lost in the shuffle. And right now he's at the point where he's lost in the shuffle where he's talking about title shot. So if he's nowhere close to the title, say feud with Dominic, just as an example, so they threw him to feud with Dominic for the IC title, people aren't going to get behind it.
Right. Because people love Dominic.
Well, A, people love Dominic, and B, you've been talking now about World Heavyweight title, World Heavyweight title, World Heavyweight title. Oh, the IC title's not so bad. They're not going to buy that.
Yeah.
So he's in this, I'm blanking on the word. What is the place they call between heaven and hell?
Purgatory.
Thank you. He's in purgatory right now. He's in main event purgatory because he's a guy that the crowd wants to get behind. He's a guy that can absolutely be in the main event, but he's a guy that they're not confident in winning these main events. And then, when you have him lose triple threat, you have him lose to Braun Breaker, you have him lose to Bronson Reed, you have him lose to this guy and that guy.
Now let's stay here. Let's stay right there, Josh.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that they're not confident in putting him over in those main event scenes or those main event matches? There has to be something. I know you said that, they don't necessarily put the Rocket behind, guys that get themselves over. They want to be the machine that does it, right? Like they want to choose the guy.
Yeah.
Is it just that, or is it there's something else that is not clicking for them just from you as a viewer watching it? Obviously, we're not behind the scenes, but
right. Yeah. Obviously, I can't say anything that's happening behind the scenes because I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But to me, that's the only reason. It's not a merch issue. He's still probably one of the top 5 or 10, so in merch sales.
Yep.
So it's not that. It's not, will the crowd get behind him? They chant his name all show long.
Right.
And it's not that he can't put on good matches, because we see him put on good matches just about every week. So none of these things are the issues. It's the fact that, hey, he got put in this place because of a combination of his work and the fans pushing it, not the combination of his work and the brass wants him to go.
Right. Okay.
And that's not trying to knock other guys that have gotten the push because the brass wants them to go, because for the most part, those guys are also working their asses off to get in that position too. It's the Cardona effect.
Yeah.
And that's really what because he was, like the first huge one that it really happened with. And it continues to have a ripple effect with guys and girls who naturally find themselves in a big spot like that.
Now, do you think that it could be because we've seen, and we'll go ahead and talk about this and then we'll move on, but we've seen fans choose their champion, right? We've seen Kofi Kingston have Kofi Mania, right? We've seen that.
How that ended.
That's where I'm going, right? So it's like we've seen other instances where the fans get what they want. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and give you what you want here. Let's see how it works out. Do you think that in the back of their minds, they're like, okay, we like him. We think that he's a mid upper tier main event guy or, mid card guy, but we don't think that he's main event material yet. He could be in like the next 6 months. Who knows what happens, but we are not willing to push him this further right now. But if you guys want it, okay. But once he gets it, then we're going right back to the regular scheduled program and we're going to just put it on who we want to put it on. So we're going to give you the championship for a little while, get you happy, pacify you, and then throw him to the back of the line. So I think that's kind of where WWE is. Like, they might be thinking about it like, okay, well, we want to give in to the fans. But if we give in to the fans, that we're just going to bury him after this. And maybe they don't want to bury him, and so they have him in purgatory.
The biggest difference between today's WWE and the time that you're describing, the Kofi Mania, the Daniel Bryans, etc., can be answered in 3 letters, and those letters are TKO.
Right. They are not in the wrestling business. They are in the making money business.
Right. And in their opinions, as much as the crowd cheers, as much as merch sales happen, the higher brass is, okay, well, is this the guy that we want representing us on other mainstream media shows? Where the reality is, it should be, because he can certainly carry himself and talk to anyone.
You can have him anywhere.
Have him as the face of Slim Jim, for crying out loud.
You can have LA Knight
some things with him.
You can have LA Knight appear on Saturday Night Live if it gets to that point, because I think that he can be able to hold his own there, right?
Yeah. And he is also one of the few people on the roster who had acting experience prior to joining the roster, while others have gained it after and gotten booked and things.
Yeah.
He's been I mean, there have been like joke videos on YouTube where they go down the rabbit hole of, hey, LA Knight was in this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And it's true. He has been.
Right.
And it's the type of thing where, okay, well, I mean, he's got a great, I don't like using the phrase like all American look, but he really has a good all American look.
Yeah.
He's got the swagger behind it. He obviously, we know, can talk. We know obviously he can wrestle. Yeah, it just comes down to, oh no, you made yourself a big deal. We want to make them a big deal.
Right.
So that's why, like, I wouldn't be surprised if before we know it, we see at this rate LA Knight coming down in the ring, huge pop from the crowd. I'm here to fight tonight. Bring someone out. I need to get back in the title picture. And then out comes Obafemi, who squashes him in under 5 minutes.
Right.
Because Obafemi, no disrespect to him, because he's fantastic, but he's been built by them.
Exactly. He is a literal WWE product from the ground up.
Right.
And that's the guys that they want to push. Like, guys, Seth Rollins. And I also want to say this too, like, for the guys that have the indie experience, you tend to see that they don't get the spotlight as much on a grand level. I'm talking about like all the guys that have big time indie experience. There's only a select few guys that really get pegged to say, okay, Seth, Drew, like these guys, because they've been through the system already. They've been selected as a WWE guy. I don't think that LA Knight is a WWE guy to them yet. And that's kind of why he might be in.
How long does it take to become a WWE guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he's been there, what, 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah.
And then in addition with that, he was there many years prior where they didn't.
Before he got cut. Yep.
As good as Slate Randall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. He just may be. I don't want to compare him to in regards to the talent wise and how good this guy was, but Kurt Hennig was never a world champion in WWF either, right? He was kind of just like, you're good. You can be able to have matches with everybody. We'll put you in there and make somebody else look good. But the guy that's behind you, that's who we want.
They had that for the last 12 years in Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. And now Dolph Ziggler's gone. So somebody has to be that. It could be, it's probably Sammy. It's probably going to be LA Knight. Who knows? Moving on. I don't know how you feel about Carmelo Hayes, Josh, but I've never truly been a big fan of Carmelo Hayes from his days in NXT. He's always been good, right? He has the in-ring ability, he has the moxie, he has the swagger. He just I remember when it was him and Trick Williams in NXT, and everybody's like, Carmelo Hayes. And I'm like, that guy Trick Williams, I think, is the actual star for me. Like, Trick Williams just had everything that I look at for being a marketable star. And Carmelo Hayes just never really had that to me. He's now on SmackDown. They put him with The Miz with that garbage that he was with for so long. Him and LA Knight were going back and forth for the U.S. title for, way back when with Andrade. It was just a hodgepodge of garbage. Now they finally turn. I don't even know if you want to call him a babyface, but do you necessarily think that he's gonna get a fair push? And what does a fair push look like for Carmelo Hayes? And is he worthy of a fair push?
I mean, you want to talk about a younger, shorter version of LA Knight. That's exactly what Carmelo Hayes is.
Okay.
Because again, Carmelo, to me, has all of the tools. I think he's incredible in the ring.
Yeah, he is.
Has that swagger. He can talk both as a heel and babyface. I hate thinking height is ever an issue. We know WWE for many, many years, height was an issue. Then there was a little while where it went away.
Yeah.
And it goes back and forth with it.
It does.
Because oddly enough, I feel like if he was as tall as Trick Williams, he would have already been champion by now.
I believe that.
And that's annoying and just wrong and awful for that being the case.
Yeah.
Because for one, I'm excited of now seeing a true feud with The Miz. Like, I want it, though, to have layers, because that's a big thing with Carmelo Hayes. As good as he is, as talented as he is on the mic and things like that, you know as well as I do, it's important for the crowd to get behind the story of the person. What do we know about Carmelo Hayes? And whether it's real or story, besides the fact that he goes, I'm him. Besides that, like, what is there? What is the story of the upbringing? How did he get to where he got? And because Miz, you can make the argument he's better than anyone else at getting that out of someone.
Absolutely.
And there are times where he's had to fuse with someone, gotten that out of them, and then that skyrocketed them.
Yeah.
There are times that he would do that and nothing would happen, and that person continued to flounder. So I love the opportunity for them to have a legit feud. It's also nice because Miz really hasn't had a legit feud in a while. That lasted more than 3 or 4 weeks. And so if we're turning Carmelo babyface, which I'm perfectly fine with, and I think he will be a good spot there, as well as, SmackDown again, I think is a good spot for him as opposed to Raw. Mm-hmm. We need to understand, why should we get behind Carmelo Hayes?
Right. What is the story?
What is the story behind him? You add that to what we're already seeing, we can go somewhere.
Yeah.
They just haven't done it yet. And hopefully this feud that's now beginning against Miz will catapult whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Like I said, I am one of those people that I may have perceived notion about a guy and not really sold on him, but I am willing to be sold. I'm willing to be brought in to see exactly what the deal is, because I never want to write anybody off. He's too talented to be written off, right? So I want to see how they actually formulate the story, how they're going to formulate this push, and see where he fits in the grand scheme of where the hierarchy or the baby faces in SmackDown are, and what his position is going to be going forward, because we're going into Mania season very soon, right? So all of these things are really, really important for me to see of where they're going to position him after this Miz feud, because the Miz feud is going to give him a chance to be able to show a lot of range, right? Because like you said, the Miz can get that out of you. But after that, is there going to be a taper off? Is there going to be an ascension? I need to see exactly what happens there. So, yeah.
No, I agree. Because, it's big, especially with Miz on, okay, how do we get behind, in this case, Carmelo? And then just as if not more importantly than that, okay, we're behind him. He beats Miz.
Now what?
Yeah. Because we had that issue with Sandow. We had that issue with Enzo.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we had that issue with Alex Riley.
Yeah, man. That's like one of the weirdest ones I remember. He was so over, and WWE was like, no, nope. He even had a good song too. Like, I'm like,
his song was
everything. He had everything. He had a
great entrance song.
He had everything, man. I'm just like, what? Why did they hate Alex Riley so much?
And I will tell you this now. I don't know how it would make sense, and whether they would be even willing to pull the trigger on this. But Cena's got 4 matches left, one of which you mentioned you're going to be at in his last time in Boston.
Yeah.
What other superstar on the roster is currently from Boston, Massachusetts?
Is that Carmelo?
It's Carmelo. So you want to, you want to give him a shot? You put him in the ring with Cena.
And
I don't care if Cena goes over or not.
Yeah.
But Cena then is telling like the crowd, his home crowd, this is now your new guy.
Right. Right.
If you really want to help push him, that's a way to do it.
I like it. I like it. I like it, Josh. All right, listen, let's go into it. Let's go ahead. We got our predictions set. We got it. We're trying to see where we're gonna go with this Saturday night's main event. What is the first matchup that they have on deck for Saturday night's main event?
Oh, I don't know. Now you're making me do research. Jeez, come on.
I don't know if they actually came out with the official.
They have like a card. I don't know what the order is.
Yeah, the order. So I'll just put it in whatever order. We have Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, right?
Yep.
So this is a match to me that it's kind of like this is the WWE's product of, okay, we got Tiffany the belt, we gave it to her a little bit, but this is our Lex Luger project that we want to go ahead and push to see how we can be able to structure this the way we want to, right? And I think her being a babyface was not the answer for Jade's success, because even in AEW, she was really good as being a villain. Like she has natural heel ability. You know what I mean? And because she's so big and she's so athletic, it just makes sense to just have her as a villain, right? So this now kind of is going to be able to unlock the real Jade Cargill. And I see that. I don't think that this is going to be a long match. I think that they're going to try to prove a point here and put Jade over as fast as possible to show her dominance so she can be able to start her run as champion. What do you think about that?
I love the comparison to Lex Luger with that, because that I think is very accurate.
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing with this Saturday night's main event. They're going to go all out for this one.
I hope so, because they've been very safe. They've been very safe, John.
Well, they've been safe, but now we got two reasons. One, this is the first one that's exclusively on Peacock.
Yeah.
So now they don't have to worry about as many commercial breaks.
Right.
And in addition to that, well, the next one is going to be seen as farewell.
Right.
So you want to get as much momentum going on, hey, this can happen on Saturday night's main event, to then get into the Cena one. To get even as many eyes are already going to be on it, you want to try to find a way to get more. You always want to try to find a way to get more.
Yep. And
this is a good example of a way to do more. I am in agreement with you. I think Tiffany's title reign ends. I think Jade will get the title, cement the unstoppable monster heel. I personally think Tiffany is a better heel as well.
I agree.
I would part of me hopes that this somehow eventually leads to her making the switch to Raw and being a heel, because who would be the best person to try to dethrone Jade? Well, it'd be Bianca whenever
that's what we want.
Right? And everyone wants to be behind Bianca.
Yeah.
And obviously we already know the story is already there with the two.
And also too, this keeps Bianca babyface with all the people that have been clamoring, please go heel, because your babyface run is starting to get stale. But this is going to be able to allow her to continue in that lane and really have a formidable foe to be able to chase.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm completely in agreement with you on this one for Jade to win the title. And again, you want moments from this Saturday night's main event to carry over, because now correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any of these last 2 or 3 Saturday night's main events that had titles change hands.
No.
Right.
Very safe again. Yeah.
Right. So this is one way to start adding that in.
All righty. So we got the next one. We got the triple threat match. Dirty Dom versus Penta versus Rusev Day. This one is a little interesting to me, because as hot as Dom is, Dom's great. You know, everything that he's doing right now is just gold. Penta's kind of cooled off a bit for whatever reason. They've cooled him off.
The same reason as LA Knight.
Right.
He got himself over. It's the same exact reason.
But I thought that they had the engine behind him. It looked like they had the engine behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel that this match may end up being like one of the best matches of the night for whatever reason, because we have there's a dynamic here, right? You have Dom, you have Rusev, who's the powerhouse, you have Penta, who's the high flyer. Like, there's so much going on here, and I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Rusev gets it. I think Rusev gets the Intercontinental title because it just makes sense to just take the belt off of Dom. You can be able to have him continue, you know, to be the AAA champion, right? Until they figure out what they want to do with that. And then now Penta becomes the baby face that people to chase the Intercontinental Championship, right? So it makes sense to be able to have it that way, because you want to have a, you know, when Rusev was U.S. champion, he was a very dominant U.S. champion back in the day.
Yeah.
If you put the Intercontinental Championship on him, it gives the Intercontinental Championship credibility from being on a guy that nobody can beat at this point, right? So that's why I feel that that's the right move to make. That's where I'm going with it. I don't know where your mindset is at.
Well, you say, you know, it puts up the title on a guy that nobody can beat, yet we've seen Dominic beat him twice in the last month.
What I'm saying is that if they do it the right way, they can be able to now make it seem like Rusev is unstoppable. They can give him some squash matches. They can kind of build them up the way they need to build them up. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those situations where any one of them is great for the Intercontinental title, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is one of those matches where I really don't feel you can go wrong with whoever you choose to win it. I'm leaning towards Dominic retaining, and I'm leaning towards that for two reasons. One, everyone's been talking about that Dominic would be Cena's opponent at Survivor Series because the IC title is the only title he hasn't won. So there's that possibility. The other possibility with it is a guy that I want to throw in this stuff that is not involved on the show at all, and that would be Sheamus.
That's also chasing the Intercontinental Championship
to complete the ultimate slam.
Yeah.
Because only Edge is the only other one who's been WWE / World Heavyweight Champion, IC Champion, Tag Team Champion, US Champion, Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, King of the Ring.
Right.
Sheamus is IC title away from doing that. You planted seeds by having Sheamus wrestle JD McDonough this past Raw. Finn Balor cost Sheamus the match, which means you're also then probably going to set up Sheamus against Balor.
Right.
Well, who else is in that group that they don't seem to always get along great with? Oh, yeah, it's Dominic.
Right.
So you can...
And also, who is he good friends with?
El Grande Americano?
Rusev.
Oh, Sheamus.
Yeah.
Well, they just wrapped up that long feud.
Right.
So it's because of that I'm leaning away from Rusev winning the title, because then we're going immediately back to Sheamus and Rusev fighting.
Got you.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed. I wouldn't be against it. I just don't see them going back to that feud that quickly.
Right.
So you can have Sheamus going after Dom to try to get that title. You can even make a triple threat at Survivor Series with Sheamus and Cena. So this way, Cena gets one more match with Sheamus as well, because obviously Cena did so much for Sheamus's career.
Right.
Since
early on,
that's where his first title win came off of.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have huge marquee of, can Dominic overtake two legends, one being the GOAT, and two, can Cena accomplish a Grand Slam? And 3, can Sheamus achieve the Ultimate Slam? You have all that roll into one match.
Okay.
So because of that, I'm leaning for Dominic retaining.
You're leaning for Dom.
And
Okay,
I
like it.
because he was never mentioned once in my whole spiel.
Right. Everybody got named, but
everybody on the roster got listed in that spiel except for Penta, who's in the match.
Poor Penta.
which is probably more reason that he will actually be the one to win.
Right, he'll be the one to win, exactly.
Because I completely ignored him, so that's why he'll win.
WWE goes ahead and swerves us and puts the belt on Penta, which, hey, listen, which would be great.
I would love it. I would love that.
Would be great. Yeah, he's great. He's great. He really is great. Okay, we have Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, WWE Championship on the line, Josh. I had the show notes there, and this kind of ties into it. I mean, Cody's second run has been really, really flat. And, it's not his fault. Obviously, there's a lot going on. He's filming Street Fighter. He's, there's no credible outside of Drew, real rivalry on SmackDown right now. And it's just kind of blah. And I feel that you continue this. If he wins, we ask that question, now what? Now what do we do? Now where are we going, right? But is WWE willing to take the belt off of their golden goose because he's such a draw outside of the company for a Drew McIntyre? Or do you give Drew the belt for a little while, Cody gets it back, and then we still have our road to WrestleMania? I'm torn in regards to this match just because of all the things I listed. But if I have to choose one, I'm gonna go Cody, just because I don't see them doing a big shift here and changing their big belt and putting it on Drew. And I hate that for Drew. I hate the fact that Drew continues have to chase the title, and he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And it also asks the question for him as well too. If he loses this to Cody, what's next for Drew? Right? Like where are we going with both of them? It's just a really messed up title match right now. So it's messed up for both of them because both of their roles look very, 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 very confusing to me going forward. Thoughts?
There's a lot there to unpack.
Yeah.
A number of which I agree with you on. So the first part, as far as Cody's title run falling flat. Overall, I can, agree with you, especially, compared to that first one where, the story was finished and all that.
I mean, think about
realistically,
the highlight was SummerSlam,
Right. And when realistically, though, it wasn't, we knew whenever his second reign was, it wasn't going to be as good as the first one because the first one just had so much behind it.
Right.
In Cena's 17 reigns, do you think any of them fell flat? Because there were a few of them that did.
There were some of them that did, yeah.
So I'm not faulting Cody. I'm not even faulting,
I'm not faulting him either. Yeah.
I'm not even faulting like the writing and stuff like that with it either. Sometimes you have the champion that just like feels good. It's the right move on paper, and it's not always going to be the biggest headline and biggest match for it. It all depends on whatever the story and build with it is. And aside from the Cena stuff with Cody in this run, and really that started by him taking the title back from Cena essentially. So since then, there hasn't been too much of that.
Right.
Now, on the side with Drew, again, I'm in complete agreement with you on the fact that if Drew loses this, how can anyone take him seriously?
Right.
He's had too many opportunities, and there have been too many, scenarios, air quotes, that have caused him to lose. The always bridesmaid, never a bride, I think is a great line, on how you describe that. This is absolute must win for Drew.
Yeah.
Because if Drew loses this, he needs to be off TV for at least 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, and repackaged, right? Like
repackaged to some extent, and realistically, they're not going to do that, nor should they do that.
No, exactly.
You are forgetting one key element in all this.
Talk to me.
Jacob Fatu. He's
So
out for a little bit because he had the issue.
Yes.
The feud was starting with Drew. Obviously, now the questions are, was Drew the one who took him out? Obviously, you can say yes with that. There could be a fun curveball where it is someone else, and whoever that other person is, that can be the person to start feuding a little bit with Cody. Obviously, Jacob's going to come back for revenge on whoever that guy is. But you have Drew with the title. That then leads to you elevating Jacob to be the one feuding with Drew for the title.
And now Jacob is the chaser.
Correct.
So
Drew wins the title on Saturday.
So what does that leave Cody then?
That will leave Cody with someone who might, have him bounce from show to show. And that'd be the Bronze. Because he's already got the issues with Heyman. We already know Brock Lesnar is going to be coming back with some capacity with Heyman.
Right.
You have Cody with Lesnar, Cody with Braun, Cody with Bronson, whoever it might be.
So they put him in that hybrid Cena role where he can just kind of appear on with whatever show.
He has his own rules because he's the top guy.
He's the top guy.
Drew wins the title. Again, you want the big news to have momentum with this Saturday night's main event. You get it with Jade winning. You get it especially with Drew finally winning.
Right. That I like that. I like that. I just, again, I love both guys, right? They're both my guys. And it's like, I just want to see them. I want to see a good picture for them after this. Like whatever the picture is, make sure that they have something where both guys don't fall flat, right? Because they're too good for the company. They're too good in regards to their fan bases that love them. And they're just too good in regards to their characters and how they present themselves. So I just want to make sure that those guys are successful after Saturday night's main event. So
and then the other additional wild card with all that, I got to mention this on our last show, would also be Sammy chasing.
Sammy, right?
Because you got Jacob chasing for X amount of time, and then you could have Sammy win the Rumble.
Yeah,
and then he is the one who gets the match at Mania to eventually maybe slay Drew.
Interesting. I mean, you are throwing your Sammy chips to the middle of the table.
Sam, hey, it's in Vegas again. Chips got to move forward. I got my Sami Zayn chips.
That is your guy, man. Respect.
That's my guy in 2026 to finally win the title.
Listen, I can't wait for us to get to our Royal Rumble predictions when we get close to that. That's gonna be fun. So main event now. I believe that this would be the main event: CM Punk versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. I am going to say that this ends in a disqualification. Both guys do not get the title. That's how I'm feeling, because we're gonna get a title change with Jade. We're gonna get a title change with Drew. Dominic may end up retaining, or we might get a title change there too. Something tells me that CM Punk is not walking out of this building with the World Heavyweight Championship. Something also tells me that Jey Uso is not walking out of Saturday night's main event with the World Heavyweight Championship, because there's too many dynamics going on here. You have Jimmy that's lingering here. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Jimmy does not forgive Jey for what the hell he did on Raw for throwing him over the top rope. There's just something there, and I'm seeing that little side eye action from Jimmy. And we might get the feud that we should have got at WrestleMania that, what was it, 2 years ago, that was just horrible. We get a redo on that, and they do it the right way. For CM Punk, obviously, I can see them putting the championship on him. It'll be the same old hits. It'd be a typical TKO thing where they want to put the belt on Punk for a little bit. But I also still love him as chasing the championship a bit, right? And then you still have that presence of Braun Breaker there that presence of Brock Lesnar. We may get a Brock Lesnar sighting. We never know. But I just feel that neither of these guys are winning the championship tonight. Do you think I'm off base? Do you think I'm crazy for saying that, Josh?
So I was waiting for this match specifically because I was going to say my prediction in a fun way, and I'm still going to do it. It's just not going to have as much of an impact right now. And that way is 9 letters, 2 words, no contest.
No contest. I'm telling you. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Because the exact reasons that you said, Brock, Jimmy, and the Bronze.
Yeah.
They are still angry that they're not involved in this. Paul Heyman's still angry he's not involved in this. Jimmy is still got the stuff going on with Jay. We can't have the crowd thrilled with every single thing that happens on the show.
They're going to be mad at this one. Yeah.
And you need to have something in place because in 4 weeks, you have War Games. So you need to set up your main event for War Games from this show and the following Raw.
Correct.
That's how you're going to do it.
Correct.
I know I had like the crazy, thoughts on what they would do with the vacant title headed into War Games on our last podcast. I don't think it's as crazy as we might think. I mean, it might not be that exact way, but I'm still pretty confident that the title will be vacant headed into War Games.
Yeah.
And do something with it involving Brock, the Bronze, Jay, Jimmy, Punk, maybe LA Knight, maybe Roman. Maybe there's someone else that I'm not thinking of. Gunther.
Right.
Who knows? So I wouldn't be surprised, though, if because of that, they do not make this the main and make Drew and Cody the main. Now, obviously, it will work either way.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, do you choose to end the show with too many unanswered questions to then tune into Raw, which obviously is certainly a way to do it. And they've done it many, many times. Or do you end the show with the shock, maybe a surprise finish that caused Cody to lose, someone interfere that you weren't expecting or something along those lines.
And then we got to wait all the way until Friday
to
be able to see.
Whoa, Drew just won the title as Saturday Night's Main Event ends. And now what's Cody going to do? And if it's black or the Paul Levesque credit pops up.
Right. And then something happens.
Right. So again, either way works perfectly fine. I really think if you main event the show with Punk and Jay and you have either one of them win clean, it's going to feel like a letdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if Jay wins, because if you remember, he wins the Rumble, right? He wins the Battle Royal on Raw.
Most disliked Raw YouTube video this year.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say. The dislikes that happened, like it wasn't on the level of Roman winning the Rumble, and they had to throw the Rock out there to try to get some PR, right? Like it wasn't as bad as that, but I think people are getting Jey Uso fatigue. I think they are. They know they know his limitations. We know his limitations. He's great. Like he's worked himself into this spot. He deserves all the credit in the world for getting where he is because he got it from the mud. He literally was never looked at as a guy that was ever going to be a singles wrestler, right? I don't even think he thought himself to be a singles wrestler. It was just the fact that Jimmy kept getting hurt and he kept getting hurt. He kept having those knee injuries. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, I'm here. I can't be shelved. Put me out there and see what happens. Right. And they caught lightning in a bottle, but he does have his limitations and you cannot build a championship picture around a guy with so many limitations because it's going to dumb down your main event scene. You can keep him in there at some point and be able to kind of elevate him up and down, but to put the belt back on him would be a grave mistake, especially for Raw. So they can't do that.
I mean, I don't necessarily even think it's with that type of reasoning. My take with it is because they've been hinting at a potential heel turn with him.
Yes.
And when you're hinting at a turn on either side with someone that is in the title picture, well, because of that, the crowd doesn't know which way to go. So once you've established, oh no, he is still going to be full-blown face, him and Jimmy are going to make up, or maybe it's Jimmy that turns on him, which then gets more sympathy from it, or you do the full-fledged heel turn with Jay. Either way, then you're going to start getting back to the type of responses that you were intending on getting from him. Because right now, since the crowd doesn't know what to think, they don't know how to react to it.
They're indifferent.
Right. And if you got a guy in your main event that they are indifferent to, that is the worst position to be in.
Yeah.
Because they always say, for WWE and definitely on the independents as well, like the split second you walk through that curtain, they should know if you're heel or face.
Right.
Because the absolute worst possible thing that can happen is silence.
Right. No reaction. Exactly.
Right. That is the worst thing you can get. And right now, again, once the music stops, because the crowd just loves his theme, it's the only good theme those guys have made, whatever their names are.
Yeah. And you see that the CFOs are coming back. You see that?
CFO,
No. It wasn't the CFOs. It was Def.
Def Rebel.
Yeah, Def Rebel. Right.
Right. Yeah, CFOs. They had some good themes.
They're I think they're back.
Well, good. So I mean, it'd be better to get Jim Johnston back, but
they need that, man.
But so the fact that the music stops, and then from there, I don't know if I'm supposed to cheer or boo him.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm kind of awkwardly quiet unless he does a yeet thing, which they're going to do whether it's a heel or face anyway.
Exactly.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I've worked on shows and a wrestler was out there doing a match and was, whether he was face or heel, but just getting no response from anything, and came back from the match super proud of himself for how he did. I'm looking at him like, how are you proud of what you did? Well, I nailed these moves and stuff. Like, all right, cool, you nailed the moves. Crowd has no idea how to treat you.
They have no idea what to do with you.
Right.
And if they don't know what to do with you, what they will do with you is put you in the garbage.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I am with you in thinking that match will not have a definitive winner.
I think it's gonna be all out chaos. And if they keep it for the main event, or if it's the undercard, I think it's gonna be all out chaos. Now, a little bit of a side note here. Obviously, I'm going off. Like, are we going to have a Roman sighting anytime soon? And when we do have that Roman sighting, what are we gonna get? Is there gonna be this? I'm pulling Jay into this pseudo heel thing and starting up this new faction. Like, where do you think? Because obviously, how they left it, they're not just gonna leave it like that. Like that was an Easter egg. That was something that they are planning. Right. Like, what do you necessarily think it is? Because I know you have great insight. Do you see or foresee anything?
Oh, now you're just buttering me up, saying I've been. I mean, I could see Roman back as soon as this coming Raw. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. It could be the type of thing of him trying to push Jay more. It could be the type of thing of him trying to push Jimmy to be like Jay. It could be the type of thing of Jimmy finally standing up and shutting Roman up. It could be the type of thing of Jay standing up and you're like, no, I'm going to do this better than anything that you've done, and go on his own. I mean, there are a bunch of different ways that it could get orchestrated. They all, though, involve Roman being back.
Right.
So it's just a matter of how much are they going to build all that prior to War Games, and how much of it is going to then be built and executed at or immediately following War Games to then lead to the Rumble.
Right. Okay. That I like that, because I'm curious to see where they go with that as well. Listen, as safe as WWE has been over the past few months, I think that they're starting to put a lot of things together. I mean, look, Seth Rollins' injury is devastating. You know, I never wish that on anybody, because he's such a good company guy. He does everything the right way. He never argues in regards to putting guys over, and you want guys like that, because he's always a guy that wants to elevate not only himself but elevate others as well, right? But what ends up happening when there is a major injury is that you see, the cream rises to the top, like how Macho Man would say, right? Like, this is one of those things where you're going to see who's going to be able to match the moment, who's going to be able to take the reins and say, I got it. You might not have thought that I can be able to do it, but I got it. And this is why it's very exciting to see what ends up happening after this Saturday night's main event, because I see that there's going to be a lot of different roads and different branches that come off of this, that they can be able to go heading into War Games, heading into the road to WrestleMania. There's a lot of different things that they can be able to do. So I'm definitely excited about it, Josh.
One last thing that I'll just briefly say, since you brought up Seth Rollins. I don't know if you saw him on Good Morning Football today.
No, I didn't.
So he was on there, dressed up like his costume was being a bear, where he had like bear fur under a bear's jersey. But obviously his arm was in a sling. And the key thing that he mentioned on there was he's going to be out for around 6 months. What's in about 6 months from now?
WrestleMania.
Yep.
If he's back for Mania, that would be great.
It's all part of a setup to have him back for Mania. And I'm almost certain it'll be him versus Braun at Mania. Now, whether or not Braun's champion at that point, we'll have to wait and see.
It would make sense for Braun to be champion, no?
It would or would not?
Would.
Oh, it would. Absolutely. Yeah. I do think, though, it's a situation where it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. It can just be a regular, grudge match type thing. Yeah.
So
okay.
Just keep that in the back of your mind, because Seth will be back right where you need him.
He'll be
back. That's how he always is.
And hopefully he gets cleared before then, so he can be able to like rehab and get himself prepared, right? So I'm rooting for him, man, because again, I just think he's so good at what he does, and WWE is better off having Seth Rollins around than not having him around. So
yes.
Speedy recovery to Seth Rollins. We'll see what happens on Saturday night's main event, Josh. I am curious to see if we have hit the nail on the head, because I'm going to be texting you. We're going to be talking about it. So we're going to see exactly what happens, because the next time we get on this pod, man, it's going to be very, very interesting, the conversations that we have.
Well, I will say this, because I've notoriously been known for this in past podcasts and things like that I've done. You talk about the insight. I can break things down. I have the insight. I know the details. I understand all the nuances. I am always terrible at predictions. I don't understand why. I am never good with predictions. So if I am right with what I was saying about this, one, it would make sense based on how I described it. But two, more importantly, it'd be a rarity.
Maybe I bring that type of luck to you, Josh. Maybe the tides have turned.
Maybe you're the one who's done it.
Exactly.
Maybe it's because now we've started the unnamed, unknown, parts unknown. Where are we at podcast?
and funny enough is that your predictions have kind of been off, according to you in your history. I have been the complete opposite. Like I have nailed it so many times. So I'm curious to see what happens, man. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to break it down with you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, this is it. We'll see you guys next week, where we'll be discussing some other stuff. Hopefully some other big news and big stories happen. Maybe we'll get some signings that we didn't think we were going to get. So we'll see what happens then. But until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.